Three, two.
Thank you all very much for joining us today. My name is Rich Madalino. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer of the Montgomery County Government. Thank you for joining our weekly Montgomery County media briefing. Unfortunately, County Executive Marc Elrich is not with us today. The County Executive is still dealing with a very bad cough of the aftermath of bronchitis, and thought it was better not to join and cough his way through the entire media briefing. So he sends his apologies and looks forward to being back by the next week's media briefing. So with that, we want to start today with a conversation around what happened last night in the District of Columbia with the devastating attack outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, where two Israeli diplomats were gunned down. We have joining us today our police chief, Marc, assistant chief responsible for the patrol, Darren Frank, to talk a little bit about what the Montgomery County Police Department has been doing already today in order to respond to this situation. Of course, on behalf of the county executive, we send our condolences out to the family and friends of these two diplomats who were gunned down, as well as the family staff of the Israeli embassy in Washington, and of course, broadly speaking, our Jewish community. So I'm going to turn it over to Chief Yamada, Assistant Chief Frank, to talk a little bit about what they've been doing and their colleagues, and then answer questions. Before we go on to a number of other items on today's media briefing.
Thanks, Rich. Chief Marc here, along with Assistant Chief Frank, Chief of the Patrol Services Bureau. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Jewish community, in fact, our community as a whole, over this tragedy. As soon as we became aware of this, we began to reach out. I know Chief Frank reached out to the district commanders. We extended some communication through various means to our contacts in the Jewish community, to let them know that we are in support of them as always, and that we are going to provide increased high visibility patrols in the and around the areas in all 6 of our districts in any Jewish institution or facility here in the county. And I'll let Chief Frank explain how that's going to look. And we anticipate doing this at least through the end of the week.
So we've directed patrol operations to continue to visit sites. Our officers have maps of high value areas within the county, and so they have that information that they will be moving through during the course of their patrol. Sergeants are going to make sure that those check-ins occur, and then again, importantly, as the chief mentioned, we're reaching out to all of our contacts to answer any questions and reassure them as best we can while they deal with this tragedy. So we will continue our operations in that until such time that we can feel confident that our community feels a little bit better. But it's important to note in Montgomery County, we do note all of these locations that we have possibility of sensitive things happening at, and it's part of our routine as patrol officers to check on those sites while we're patrolling, not answering calls for service.
And I did have a conversation with Ron Halber from the JCRC earlier this morning, just to make sure that he was aware of the support we were providing, and asked him to reach out if he had any additional concerns.
So the good news is our police department is well versed, well acquainted with our high visibility Jewish institutions across the community. You know, it's both thanks to the professionalism and the long-time community outreach that the police department does, and it's also sadly because of the times that we need to be aware of these threats, not just to the Jewish community, but to a variety of high visibility institutions across our county. And the public should know that the Montgomery County Police Department is serious about keeping everyone safe and being very engaged in the community. And that's just one part of our response to to hate crimes in general. Just to reiterate, we provide $1.2 million annually in security grants to a variety of organizations across the county to provide both operating dollars, support to higher security, as well as capital improvements for cameras and other measures to keep their facilities and their visitors safe. We have a variety of connections throughout our community that go well beyond the police department. I want to remind people of our Office of Community Partnerships led by Director Sean Ellis, our faith liaison, Kate Chance, and the various liaisons that we have out into our community, our regional services directors. There are a number of ways that we touch our community each and every day to make sure everyone is feeling safe and everyone is feeling supported across our community, because we hate to see things like what happened downtown yesterday. And we want our community to make sure, no matter who you are, we are serious about safety each and every day. We are serious about building a strong community where everyone is respected and is not the target of this sort of violence. I know Kate Ryan has her hand up. So what I'm going to ask is that we take questions from the media now about this issue, and then I'm going to come back and cover a number of other issues. So Kate.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I want to ask both of the police agency representatives. I know both of you have been present in the past when communities came together, when there were anti-Muslim events, back when Nancy Florine was county executive, back when Roger Berliner was county executive. So we've seen these things in the past. I know that the number of hate incidents that the police department has documented that are anti-Semitic in nature have grown quite a bit in the recent years. What would you say? First, can you characterize just how bad it is? And second, what would you say to members of other communities who are also concerned that they might be subject to backlash?
Yeah, thanks, Kate. Hate crime is problematic. It's problematic not just here in Montgomery County, but across the nation. We encourage all of our communities, all of our faith-based communities, all of our communities in general, to report anything that they see. One, if it's suspicious, and two, if they think it amounts to something criminal. Oftentimes it doesn't reach a criminal level, but we still document it here in Montgomery County. In fact, we do above and beyond an outstanding job with documentation. That has helped us identify trends. It's also helped us identify suspects potentially, whether that suspect is charged criminally or offered some other sort of services, whether it be mental health services, something along those lines that is non-criminal. We go to the ends of the earth to try to bring these cases to closure and make sure we follow up on any leads possible. So reporting by the public is of the utmost importance. And I know our district commanders, Chief Frank works with them. They work with their regional services directors and other contacts to spread the word throughout these communities that, yes, please come forward. Do not hesitate. Do not be afraid.
And then just a brief follow-up, if I can. I know that the investigation in DC is very, very early days, but there were reports that the suspect was pacing in front of this event. If someone in Montgomery County sees something like that, is that a 911 call or a non-emergency call? How best can people reach out to you?
I think you can use either method. The call takers are trained to analyze what information is provided, and we can dispatch an officer either without lights and sirens, or in other words, routine, or in an emergency capacity, lights and sirens, if the call taker determines. So either way is fine, but certainly we absolutely need people to call. And let us figure out how best to handle the situation, whether it's through a police response or a joint response with another county agency.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I have a different question on a different topic for you too, if possible, but I understand other reporters are in line.
So I do want to point out, as the chief mentioned during his comments, we have a hate crime reporting portal. So obviously, if there's something serious, if you're worried, call 911. and make sure one of our, emergency communicators and specialists can make that call as to what to do next. But if you're concerned, if you see something, if you see graffiti, if you're concerned about something you've heard, you can also go to our portal. If you go to the county website, montgomerycountymd.gov, search hate crime portal. It'll take you to the report, to the page to fill out information. We want to know what's happening. You can be anonymous in reporting that. So we want to know. And so that's another tool that we have. We're going to change our website this morning to make sure that's front and center, so it's easy for people to see when you come to the Montgomery County website. So Lionel Donovan.
Good morning. Kind of a question along the same vein as far as the logistics of these increased patrols that the Montgomery County Police are talking about. So, first thing I want to ask, like, in addition to the patrols, are there also talks of maybe having officers maybe stationed at certain synagogues or at places of worship during worship times? Is that something that's been discussed or talked about?
So as we're talking with our contacts in the community, we'll see what kind of preparations they have. A lot of these institutions already have security. Unfortunately, it's a sign of the times. So if there's any concerns beyond that, we will analyze them and see what our staffing is, and we definitely want to be responsive. So we'll analyze those on a case by case basis. And again, but I do want to reiterate, we're going to step up our patrols right now as is, regardless, certainly into next week.
Okay, and the second one kind of piggybacks off of the earlier question in regards to other places of worship. A few months ago, I spoke with a one synagogue who was talking about how they were vandalized, and across the street they were saying that the church was also vandalized. That same day, had flags ripped off of poles and things of that nature. Have other places of worship, of other faith community members, have they reached out to you talking about anything similar? Or maybe you could talk a little bit about the unique threat the Jewish community is feeling right now.
We've had incidents that there sometimes there's peaks and valleys of it. We've had the incidents where houses of worship have suffered vandalism, and we have a very robust investigative response to that, and we are fortunate that we are able to track down a number of these events. As far as anything regarding this particular attack, no, we haven't had anything from other houses of worship. And certainly you mentioned it, right? It's a time of heightened tension over what is happening overseas. And this is a terrible extension of that in our own community. So we continue to monitor it. One of the things, we also have a very robust intelligence operation where we monitor a lot of things on the national level to help us so that we can respond to our county residents. So we'll continue to look into that and adjust our operations as needed.
And one thing I want to point out is we rely heavily on our partnership with our MoCo Connect, our camera program. We had a recent series of events down in Bethesda where we were able to gain access to security camera footage that allowed us to identify a suspect in one of those cases. And that proved critical in actually charging an individual with that particular theft of the flag and vandalism to the flag at a religious institution.
The public should know our investment goes just beyond the outstanding officers of the Montgomery County Police Department to the technology that the chiefs were just mentioning. We have our own security cameras. Many of our institutions, we've assisted with them to have high definition, state-of-the-art security cameras. We've got drones over several parts of the county to respond to incidents. Just because you don't see a police car sitting in front of someplace, don't think that it's not being actively monitored, and that you do something wrong, we're not going to be able to find you quickly in Montgomery County. So we do deploy a vast range of technology through our police department, through our partners, in order to make sure the community is safe. And that's been a critical priority of the Elrich administration and this county council. And Kate Ryan, I do have to say, Roger Berliner and Nancy Florine were both outstanding leaders within our community, but neither were county executive. They were council members.
Sorry about that. That's right. Council president. Sorry.
Yes, yes. So now to the dean of the Montgomery County Press Corps, who would never make that mistake, Ginny Bixby.
Oh, I absolutely would make that mistake. Hi. Hi, Chief Yamada. I have a question from my colleague, Elliot Griffin. She could not make the briefing because she's covering something else at this time, but she was curious about your thoughts on the independent audit on the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner that was released. In the case that was reviewed, it reclassified 5 police custody deaths as homicide. What are your thoughts and or concerns?
Yeah, well, as of right now, we are reserving our comment until we have a chance to fully explore the contents of the report and try to figure out whether the AG's office is going to move forward with any sort of investigation. So until that happens, until we figure that out, I don't really have any comment other than the officers involved in these cases were subject to investigations, both internal and external, and were found to be in compliance at the time. So until I'm told something different, we'll hold off on making any public comment.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Jenny, I just want to add one point. If obviously the most recent of those 5 additional was 2019, but prior to that, it was 10, and in many cases, or as many as 20 plus years ago. The departmental policies have undergone a number of revisions since even the most recent. And I know several of them were taser related deaths. I know the taser policy has changed considerably over the last several years in light of the best research and science, the best practice across the country. And so I would only add that obviously, these incidents are tragic any way you slice it, but the departmental policy has shifted considerably, and best practice, national training, all those things in several of these areas that are addressed in a few of these deaths have changed considerably since those events did occur.
And the only thing I'll add is we keep saying 5, the number's 5. It may actually be 4. There might be one case that's actually attributed to Montgomery County, but it might actually be a PG County case.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And of course, a homicide is not necessarily a murder. It's a classification of what was a contributing factor to someone's death. It does not necessarily mean that in any way that a crime occurred. So any other, Kate is back to slap me around for calling Ginny the dean when of course Kate has been covering Montgomery County for years, but she has to cover a lot more of the region. A lot more of the region.
Now, I do have a question though, tied to what Ginny brought up. That was what I wanted to come back to. In some of those cases, I think, and I don't know who makes this determination of excited delirium, and that apparently has been either /debunked or discredited over the years. Can either the police chief or Mr. Stoddard speak to that? Is that something, because you mentioned the taser policy, which has changed. Is that something also that is no longer cited in reports when we have cases like these?
So regarding excited delirium, yes, that has grown out of popularity with medical examiners. And a couple things have transpired over the course of the last 20 years. I want to reiterate Montgomery County policy. When Axon adjusted their training, we immediately adjusted ours and retrained officers. And so as you go back and look at all of these cases, I think it's important that you look at the history when it's associated with Axon, but also when you look at the medical studies of excited delirium. I think we still need to gather more information on excited delirium from the research that has been done in the last decade. to make any kind of determination, but it certainly is not something that you see as often, and really has a lot to do with the policies and the actions of police agencies in dealing with and recognizing these symptoms of being under the influence or being in a medical situation. We've changed our response so that we get help quickly to a scene and render aid, and that's really made a tremendous difference in responding to these crises.
I would
Thank you.
only add, Kate, that having been involved I can't remember what was the most recent iteration of the use of force policy or the prior one to that, but when the national academies removed their support for excited delirium, so did the use of force policy. It no longer reflects that term, or any of the training associated with that use of force policy no longer reflects that, and has not since the national academies removed that designation from the vernacular of those professions.
Gotcha. And when you say national academies, who are we referring to? Sorry. Full.
There were two national academies. I want to say the American Society. I could find you the reference, but when there was I just remember when that news broke, we were actually in the process of reviewing the use of force policy, and we very specifically went into the document and all the training associated and made sure that we corrected for the fact that that no longer was accepted science. And so I believe this was back in 2022 or 2023 that those two academies uh, formally withdrew their support for the concept of excited delirium, and we made sure at that time that our policy was scrubbed clean of it, and the training associated with our policy was scrubbed clean of it.
Got it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Kate. We put the link in the chat. Well, in the chat, we put a link to the portal for reporting hate crimes, so that hopefully many of you can share that around as well. So at this point, I want to thank Chief Yamada, Chief Frank very much for joining us today, and for the work they and their colleagues do each and every day to keep Montgomery County an incredibly safe place to live, work, and play. And visit. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep. And the reason why I wanted to say visit is because we're going to pivot to our next guest, who is Letitia Cobian Engel. Letitia is with the Visit Montgomery, which is the Montgomery County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Another way to look at it, Visit Montgomery is putting together Go MoCo Month. So this is the month of May is a focus on getting out and about in Montgomery County. I mean, we are fortunate as a region to have visitors from all over the world. For example, right now, the Washington area is home to World Pride, an international celebration of the LGBTQ community. And there are events going on around the region and even in our county as part of World Pride. But there are many reasons to visit and enjoy Montgomery County. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to live here, to visit and explore new parts of the county, which is why we have Letitia on to talk a little bit about what is happening with Go MoCo Month.
Hi, yes. So my job is to promote all the fun things to see and do here in Montgomery County. And May is officially Go MoCo month. The weather's getting warmer, people are looking to get out of the house, and we're encouraging everyone to go shop, go eat, go stay, and go play all throughout the county. This last week of Go MoCo month is my favorite because it's Memorial Day weekend. It's the official kickoff to summer. So I'm encouraging people to download the Visit MoCo app. You can find it in the App Store. Head to the Passport section where we curated a selection of places to visit where you can use the app to check in at the locations, and each check-in is a chance to win the Go MoCo giveaway, which includes $700 in gift cards to shop, eat, and play. It's just a fun way to gamify the experience. It's a way for visitors to see the area, but also for locals to explore different regions. There it is. That's our app. um, because there's so much to do that I know even I live and breathe it, and I still have to be reminded because there's so much going on every day in the county. I'm already planning my weekend. I'm going to head to Adventure Park in Olney for zip lining, Butler's Orchard in Germantown to pick strawberries. I'm going to head to the Rio to rent paddle boats with my kids. Hopefully, the Dragon will be available. I'm going to hit the breweries and wineries along the Tastemakers Trail, which is our self-guided craft beverage tour. So there are a lot of ways to get out, and hopefully the rain will stay away now.
Oh,
And then yeah, go
it's
ahead.
supposed to be a beautiful weekend.
I know, I'm very excited. And then once Go Moco month is over, we're looking into the summer. I'm looking forward to sharing our summer vacay, the Moco Way campaign. So this summer, we're finding there are a lot of people who are looking for local travel options in replacement of more costly trips, or to complement that one primary vacation and just add in more local weekend getaways. So we're encouraging people in the DMV and targeting visitors within a 2-hour drive radius to choose Montgomery County for their next weekend getaway or staycation this summer. Um, so if you can follow us on Visit Moco on Instagram and Facebook for story ideas, because we're highlighting outdoor adventures, cultural experiences, family fun activities, the best places to try different types of ice cream, our favorite places to dine outside. We're really just a great resource for locals and visitors for things to do in the county. There's a full calendar of events at the website, visitmontgomery.com. And you had mentioned World Pride. We're really excited that World Pride is in our region. This year, it's bringing millions of people to the nation's capital, and they're spilling into Montgomery County. We've been working with the Capital Pride Alliance and Destination DC to make sure we're in the know of things that are going on so we can support the visitors who are going to World Pride, and that they can stay in Montgomery County and go back and forth between the activities that are happening in the district and then around the region. We also have a few official World Pride events here, like the International Pride Orchestra and the Gay Men's Chorus of Washington, D.C., which are performing at the Strathmore. And we've been working with the MoCo Pride Alliance here to promote our celebrations across the county. You go to Pride Comedy Night at Brookside Gardens, Rockville Pride, Drag Bingo at Black Rock Center for the Arts, and there's Tacoma Pride Day, Family Day at Glen Echo Park, and of course Pride on the Plaza in Silver Spring. So we've created a hub for World Pride. You can find it on all the pages on our website because we've created it on a nice little link there, which helps visitors to plan their trip to the area.
Well, thank you, Letitia. The app is wonderful. I mean, I've had the chance to live in this community since I was 3, and that's quite a long time. And I have found places I didn't know about using the app. I've taken drives around the county, visiting stores, routes that have been curated to hit a number of stores in parts of the county that I don't necessarily have the chance to frequent. So it's a wonderful tool to use on the app. You can get it from the App Store, on Apple, on Google. You can go to the website to get more information. We're thrilled from a World Pride standpoint to have, as you were mentioning, these concerts at Strathmore when the Kennedy Center decided to reshift some of its focus. Fortunately, the Performing Arts Center at Strathmore was available and willing to step in and provide a welcoming host to these World Pride events, so that everyone has a place to perform and participate in this celebration. So it's great that we have the facility and the leadership in this county willing to stand up and welcome World Pride events. I'm very proud of that. So, believe it or not, we get 1.6 million visitors every year into Montgomery County. It creates almost $2 billion worth of economic activity within the community. So we are thrilled to have visitors. But again, when you think about the range, if you want to eat at an urban brewery in Silver Spring, an outdoor cafe in Rockville, or go to a bucolic rural setting like Cross Vines out in Poolsville. We've got just about everything within a short drive to people in the county. So check out the app, check out our businesses, and even if you're here, you already live here, go visit MoCo. And don't forget this weekend also, with all the exciting things that are happening at Congressional Country Club, we are the host of the Senior PGA Tournament. So we are going to be we have thousands, tens of thousands of people who are going to be visiting Potomac to attend this international golf tournament at Congressional, which of course has been the scene of many great professional golf tournaments over the years. And then just in a few weeks at Woodmont Country Club in Rockville, the Adaptive PGA Championship is going to occur. So handicapped golfers will have a chance to come out and compete for the national championship once again here in Montgomery County. So questions for Letitia? Questions. What's the best brew pub? No, we won't put you on the spot, but thank you very much, Letitia, for participating. So
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm headed to the country club next to see those golfers.
all right. So with that, just a few other things to go over. The county council is in the process of passing the FY26 budget. This is the formal vote. The straw vote was last week. When you look at the numbers, the council is adopting 99.8% of the county executive and school board's request for funding for the Montgomery County Public Schools. They are adopting 99.85% of the county executive's recommended budget for the Montgomery County government. I don't think there's been a budget cycle since the county executive took office that has gone so smoothly, and where the council has embraced really, when you look at this, just about every penny of the county executive's recommendations for critical services across our county, whether it's public education, it's public safety, it's social services, rec, library, parks, whatever. Great consensus between the executive and the council. Of course, it would have been nice if they had shored up our revenues as the county executive had proposed, but that did not wind up passing this year. So we do have some work to do looking towards the future, but otherwise an exciting budget with many great things for the community. So, and I just am getting word that the council has in fact taken their vote and passed the budget for FY 26. I would imagine unanimously. I don't know the vote count, but again, broad consensus between the executive and the council. So often what is reported is the differences when in fact there is broad consensus about a way forward for everyone between County Executive Elrich and the County Council. And we certainly thank the council staff for their work on the budget, and all of the county employees and school system employees and park and planning employees who helped make this whole thing possible. And it was late breaking news. It was unanimous. So thrilled to report for growth in the county, Bernstein Management Companies announced that they are shifting 50 full-time jobs to Montgomery County, a partnership in the recruitment effort between the state and the county to bring Bernstein's high-paying jobs to a new headquarters facility in Bethesda, 15,000 square feet. PowerSolve, a company relocated from Northern Virginia, right here, just 2 blocks away from where I'm sitting in Rockville, bringing their IT company here to Maryland because they know both Maryland and Montgomery County appreciate our small businesses and provide people with a great opportunity to continue to grow. Marc did, the county executive did attend the International Council of Shopping Centers Convention in Las Vegas with Governor Moore, with representatives from the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation, with people from the Maryland Department of Commerce to recruit more businesses here. We went with the local developer working on Viva White Oak. The MCB was there. The state staff with county staff and the county executive visited a manufacturing facility outside of Las Vegas that is interested in finding an East Coast location to open a facility. And so we were there working with our state partners to make a case for Maryland and Montgomery County as the best place to do business. Of course, this is Memorial Day, which means on Monday, many county offices will be closed. Ride-on will be on a Sunday schedule. Trash will slide back a day for trash and recycling pickup done by the county. So that'll run Tuesday to Saturday as opposed to Monday to Friday. But we wish everyone a safe and happy Memorial Day. And of course, we thank all of the fallen heroes who helped provide us with the country and the freedoms that we have today. Earlier this week, I participated on behalf of the county executive, the groundbreaking of a new $59 million elementary school in Burtonsville. This will be our first fully sustainable elementary school using state-of-the-art technology. The county executive actually played a critical role in getting this project to its new location. Many people may know the current Burtonsville Elementary sits in a commercial industrial area right behind the Burtonsville Shopping Center, right by the corner of Route 29 and Route 198. Thanks to the county executive getting involved and saying, hey, there is a better site for this in the middle of actually the community, a residential community. They went with the new site. We worked with MCPS to get this done. And as a result, they will have a larger footprint, an ability to have fields and playgrounds in use throughout the year. And it's estimated that 85% of the kids will be able to walk to school, which is an enormous transformation considering 100% now have to be bused to the location. So a huge community investment, and it's just part of nearly $200 million of improvements in elementary schools just in the East County that are underway in this current 6-year CIP that the county executive proposed and that the school board adopted. $1.7 billion going into school facilities as part of this 6-year plan across the county. And just in the East County, not only a new Burtonsville Elementary, a new Stonegate Elementary, a new Burnt Mills Elementary, additions at Greencastle and at Page. So enormous investments. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with what's happening in the East County. The huge announcement about Viva White Oak, the county executive's proposal to have our first TIF, tax increment financing plan, to get a nearly $2 billion development started with a shovel in the ground, hopefully by the end of the year for the Viva White Oak complex, 5,000 homes, offices, labs, potentially a manufacturing facility, as well as commercial retail development. A huge anchor, long anticipated, finally moving forward with this proposal by the county executive and our development partner, MCB. It's just part of the incredible things happening in the East County. The Hillendale Gateway project, you see new apartments going up right on the Beltway. Everyone has probably seen I believe the 3 cranes that are up right there at the Beltway. New housing going up at a variety of places up the 29 corridor. New supermarkets that have opened in White Oak and Burtonsville, the Amazon Fresh and Sprouts anchoring the redevelopment of the Burtonsville Shopping Center. Burtonsville looks tremendously different thanks to the hard work of County Executive Elrich, and even going back to County Executive Leggett. We announced a partnership with Howard County to extend our flash service all the way to Columbia. So it'll be easier than ever to take a bus to all these new investments in the East County. And of course, the county executive has long advocated for the East County campus of Montgomery College, which is up and running, and the start of what will be Montgomery College's 4th campus. So tremendous investment in the East County and growth happening everywhere in Montgomery County right now. Very exciting time in our in our county and in our county's history. So with that, I see Lionel has his hand up, probably to just say, please stop, Rich. I can't believe how much is happening in Montgomery County.
No, no, absolutely. Now we're excited to hear so much is going on because it gives us a lot to talk about.
Yep.
One thing I did want to bring up, I did hear something pretty interesting. I don't know if this would be really the case for this particular Memorial Day weekend, kind of given the weather and everything, but this is usually the time when, swimming pools and, swimming areas start to open up and people start to go out swimming and things like that. And someone pointed out how Montgomery County, and like in the past have kind of had a issue having enough lifeguards to, kind of safeguard all of the pools and swimming areas in the county. And I was wondering if there's been anything done to kind of address this. Have there been like kind of more efforts being put in to get more lifeguards in the Montgomery County swimming pools and swimming areas?
Lionel, that's a fascinating question. I know our pools are scheduled to open this weekend. Our outdoor pools, our indoor aquatic centers, of course, operate throughout the year. I have not heard that we've had a problem, but we will double back with you and get an answer to that question from our recreation staff. So thanks for bringing it up. I know in the conversations about the pools opening, no one has said to me that there is a problem with getting any of our pools open this weekend because of a staffing challenge. But thank you for bringing that up.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
And of course, when I was talking about the budget, lots of great stories potentially with the budget. If anyone has a question about something that they've heard that we are doing and you want more information, you want to set up an interview, Scott Peterson is always available and the point of contact. So if you want to come out and go to it, Lionel, for example, come to a swimming pool, or to find out more information about any of the initiatives of this administration that the council has supported, please reach out to us because we are more than happy to talk about the amazing things the Montgomery County government and our public schools and our college and our Parks and Rec department are doing each and every day. With that, I've got Sean O'Donnell, our Deputy Health Officer, on. Sean, do you have anything you want to share from our HHS team?
No, it's been a quiet week. Respiratory disease, serious respiratory disease is at yearly lows. And but we do know that lots of people, like our county executive, are experiencing more common things like colds. Those are still going around quite a bit. But I just wish everyone a safe and healthy Memorial Day.
Okay, happy to take any questions on any of these topics. Okay, well, we thank everyone for joining. Exciting times, sad times with what happened in the district last night. But again, the Montgomery County government is working 24/7 to both keep people safe and to keep this community an incredibly welcoming and successful and growing place. So with that, thank you all so much. And I join Sean and everyone else in wishing you a very happy and healthy and enjoyable Memorial Day.